Who needs a Ladies Go Live 30 challenge when you can jump on screen nearly every day with some of your favorite people from around the world? And this next lovely lady that I'm going to bring on screen is someone that I met for the Ladies Go Live Summit last year. She's based in Sydney, and she is a Malay chef who is just right now creating, I think, one of the funkiest names for a TV show that she's got on her YouTube channel, on her website, called Walk Around Asia. Great puns. So she's full of great puns. She's full of great fun. And I love her cooking shows that she does online as well. And folks, she is a speaker. She travels around the world doing what she does. And she is one of the very few who is able to highly successfully get an income and create incomes from her live stream, actually live. So this is part of the reason that I wanted to get her on to chat to you. So let's bring her on screen, the amazing Jackie M. Tang. Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Lottie. Good to see you again.
Yeah, lovely to see you. Too long. But I've been watching you. I'll
be testing you with my recipes later on.
Oh no, I'm not that good. It's so much easier when Steve just says, right, we're cooking tonight. Should we have some Asian food? And Deliveroo comes in the door. It's very naughty, I know, but I need to get back into my Asian cooking, which would be great. So Jackie, tell us a little bit before we kick off with all the live streaming things. Why don't you fill in people a bit more about what you do and maybe about your new show and where can people find you and how you kind of got into this whole thing?
Sure. Yeah. I always start with saying that I used to have a restaurant, but if we just step back a little bit before the whole restaurant food thing, I actually used to be an IT consultant. So I did have a little bit of a technical background behind me when I decided to give all that up and go into food. But at some point about 6 years ago, when I was knee deep in my restaurant, I actually got contacted by Google Australia. This was back when if you're old enough to remember, there was a time when Google thought they could take on Facebook. So they launched this new platform, social media platform called Google+. And being with my technical background and all that, I kind of found some kindred spirits over in Google+, because the crowd there was a little bit more geeky, a little bit more technical. So I was fairly active there, and that caught the attention of Google. So Google Australia actually contacted me at some point, and they said, hey, look, first of all, we noticed you're very active on Google+, and second of all, that you own a restaurant. And third of all, that you actually use our product called Google Hangouts, which at the time was basically Google's competing app with Skype, right? It's like having a group Skype session. And I used to hop on there and essentially do group Google Hangouts for up to 10 people, where we just kind of banter, talk about things, the latest podcast that we liked and stuff like that. So they knew I had that behind me. So they say, look, what we've just done is launched the next level to Google Hangouts, which is Google Hangouts on Air, right? Now, remember, this is 6+ years ago. This is before the days of, we didn't have Facebook Live, no Periscope, no nothing.
No Blab, no nothing.
That's right, no Blab. Yeah, that's another.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they said, look, why don't you actually use our platform and use it to showcase your cooking? And I thought, yeah, sure, easy enough, let's do it. And as a matter of fact, a little bit of a more backstory here. That actually coincided with when Noah, my son, who's got Down syndrome, was born, and he was very, very sick in hospital. Literally the day after I gave birth to Noah by emergency cesarean, he was still in the ICU. He ended up being in the ICU for 217 days. Literally the first day after he was born, I got contacted by Google Australia. And at that time, look, in all honesty, anyone will concede that, you might tell them, like, you might say justifiably that, this is probably a bad time for me to launch into anything like big, right? But I thought, look, this sounds like it's a good opportunity. Let's say yes. So I told Google Australia, yep, that sounds like something I could get into. Give me 2 weeks. Well, I was still in hospital. Give me 2 weeks, and then we'll get the ball rolling. And
sorry, Jackie, Noah, baby Noah, and by the way, we'll come on to baby Noah's story, because there is a lovely story and a whole web page and everything about Noah's story, and it's part of the heart of the reason of why Jackie does all of this as well. So we'll come on to his story in a moment too. But this was, you were doing all of this when Noah had been in hospital.
That's correct. Yes. That's correct. Yes.
Crazy lady, but I love it.
Yeah, look, I had to make a call, and I did think about it a little bit, but I figured, look, it's not every day you get Google actually contact you personally and say, look, this is an opportunity, right? So I did it, and in all honesty, the first live broadcast of me cooking was a complete disaster. I got trolled badly online for it because it was so new to everyone, that, people were just like, there were a lot of technical issues and all that. So again, justifiably, I could have said, look, this isn't working out. And in fact, I wasn't the only chef they contacted. I think there were others out there. And over the course of the next few months, there was a process of attrition. Other chefs who maybe were not so technically inclined started to drop out. But I stuck with it, and I stuck with it for so long that even when Google Hangouts on Air got decommissioned, I know that it still exists in one form or another. But about a year and a half ago, they basically said no more Google Hangouts on Air. You can use YouTube Live if you want, which is also owned by Google. I decided then that I needed a new home for my live streaming platform. Had a look around. Like I said, landscape had changed quite a lot by then, but I ended up actually on Twitch, which again appeals to me partly because with what I'm doing with cooking, it's a very new thing on Twitch, and I like the idea of being some sort of a trailblazer for something in me that's genetically tweaked, so that I find appeal in things that are new.
It's your techie nerd coming out, Jackie. It's your techie nerd. Now, before we go a little bit to talk about some of the tools and explain to some people who might not know what Twitch actually is, I just want to do a few quick shout outs to people who are watching, because I know April Roger is over there in USA. Roy Montero is over there as well, looking at another page. I think they might be watching in the B-Livers. And Robert C. Stern is saying to you, Jackie, stick with it. As you see your vision, being the first is always the hardest. That was exactly where Jackie was, Robert, as well. And, oh, look, here we go. Robert's saying, love the little boy in the back. That is actually baby Noah having his breakfast, I think, isn't it? Time for you in Australia. I'm on wine o'clock here, Jackie. So cheers from that side of the world. So do you want to talk about Noah first, or do you want to talk about the tools and things first?
We can talk about Noah first. So,
seeing as he's there and doing some lovely video bombing for you, Jackie. Hey, Noah.
It's being a little bit impatient now. Noah has Down syndrome, but he also was born with a number of very, very severe medical issues. And he, like I said, he ended up spending 217 days in hospital, most of that in the ICU. He had 2 heart surgeries and a bowel surgery, and he came close to death a number of times over that period. What I found over the course, because my marriage actually broke up right before I found out I was pregnant, so I went through the whole pregnancy and subsequent hospitalization alone. But what I found out over that period was that, and you will find this a little bit as well. So that a lot of people who have been diagnosed with Down syndrome pregnancies find that there's not enough support out there for them, both prenatally and also postnatally as well in Noah's case, because at a number of milestones in his development in hospital, when he was very ill, there was a lot of pressure, overt and implied, that, look, maybe it's a better idea to pull the plug, because I was told specifically that by the medical, a number of medical opinions that he was never going to be a productive member of society anyway. Why prolong this? And like, you're not getting any younger, you're not going to get the support you want, all that kind of stuff. So all that aside, what I've since wanted to do, I kind of told one thing that steeled me against like what I was going through in the hospital was that if ever this came out well for us in that Noah recovered and left the hospital, I was going to make it my mission to actually show other people that no, what the doctors tell you, all that doom and gloom does not necessarily have to mean that you should just throw in the towel, right? So I'm not like a hardcore like violent activist by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of what I do is implied in like my social media shares, in my live videos, in a lot of my business. I incorporate Noah into what I do, all right? And the idea, the philosophy behind that is to show other women who may be going through what I went through 6 years ago, that look, your life does not in fact end just because you've got a severely disabled child to look after, even if you're a single parent, even if you're this, and like, you know, Noah today is the happiest kid I've ever seen, like, you know, and you see him trying like
we can hear him there, Jackie. I think it's lovely. And I'm actually just busy typing because I was babynoah.com.au. That's your website that you have with his whole story that people can find out about that there. But I love the fact, Jackie, because obviously, yes, we want to chat about the tools and how you do this. But I love the fact that live stream was a tool that you were back then able to use, not only to bring in income to you now as a single mum, but as a single mum with a child with Downs, but also to be able to share those stories.
Exactly.
So how important has that actually been, kind of having that cause that has just pushed you on to make this live streaming and creating your own online TV shows actually work for you?
Oh, look, I think it's absolutely, you have to have a reason why you do it, because like Lottie, you yourself will know, live streaming is not easy. It looks easy. It looks like today's, you know, with all the technological bells and whistles we've got on our hands, it looks like it's easy. You just turn on the camera. But I know the kind of work that goes into what you do, Lottie. I know, because I do it myself as well. So you have to have a reason why you do all this. And like I said, the reason why I do it, underlying all of that, first of all, I used to have, like I said, a full, sorry, he's getting annoyed.
Love it.
On the center of attention. So, you know, back in the day, I used to have a full production kitchen, and like, you know, essentially I was selling food. Now I'm trying to move my business model away from actually selling food to teaching people how to cook and still be able to monetize on it. And in this latter business model actually gives me the flexibility to be able to spend time with Noah that I wouldn't have had I been stuck in the kitchen, you know, 80 hours a week, just like churning out food in my restaurant kitchen. To be fair, I do still serve food 1 day a week, but that's primarily because, I mean, first of all, yeah, there's the money aspect of it, but second of all, it also helps to keep my finger on the pulse as far as like what people like to eat and that sort of stuff, and it keeps me honest, you know. I think the fact that what underlies what I teach people how to do on air is the fact that I have that level of confidence in my food, born by years of having people actually be willing to pay cash, right? Pay good money to eat my food. So I still have that aspect of it in my real life. So yeah, I like that. But yeah, certainly just doing
one day I will be back in Sydney and I will be coming to chase you down and taste your food, Jackie. I was thinking it's interesting because you were talking about having a full production kitchen, and actually now you have a full production kitchen in your own kitchen, because that's where you go live from, isn't it? When you're not out and about creating your online shows.
Exactly.
So Jackie, how do you then, let's get on to the tools that you use, and how do you actually use live as a way to bring income into your life?
Okay, there's a number of ways. I think the biggest source of income for me with live videos is collaborating with brands, right? Because video is the new big thing in the Australian social media landscape, as it is in most parts of the world nowadays. I think people are just starting to realize that video is important. But live video creates this layer of intimacy, I think, with the audience, layer of connectedness with the audience that you don't necessarily get with these short, like, how to cook videos that you might find on YouTube. So I think that human element is very important. So brands are attracted to that. So I've worked with brands where I basically use their products, use their appliances, their ingredients and all that in my live streams, and I get paid for it. Right. And sometimes they might
just on that one, can I ask you, do you think you're only getting those kind of endorsement things because you were a chef beforehand? Or do you think it's been the combination of being recognized now as the expert in this particular field of Malay and Asian food, and your new show, the Walk Around Asia show? Is it all kind of a combination, or have you gone out and sought these collaborations with people?
It's definitely a combination of, I think a lot of the time is I get approached. So people see me on video. I get the other side, you know, I didn't set out with live video with the intention of getting famous or anything like that. But because of my presence on live video, I get approached by TV shows as well. So that's the other thing that's happened as a, you know, and kind of like an unexpected outcome of me doing live videos. TV producers, when they Google Malaysian chef television or something like that, they come across me and they contact me. And so because of that, I've appeared in about half a dozen, maybe, about half a dozen TV shows in Australia as a sorry, Noah's just getting really annoyed. Yeah. I've appeared in a number of TV shows in Australia as a food presenter by virtue of the fact that having live videos, I subsequently also repurpose. I upload them on YouTube. I embed them in my blog to accompany the recipes, you know, that I was cooking. I think
but Jackie, just on that, you've mentioned the golden word, the repurpose word. Yeah. So are you also creating your own TV style shows from them? Are you creating member group shows? Do you have member groups as well? Or are you purely making income from people actually watching you live? I'm
primarily making income from people watching me live. So I do keep.
And they're watching you. They're actually watching you there on Twitch, yeah.
They're watching me on Twitch, and also they watch me on YouTube if I choose to repurpose the content and export it to YouTube, which is just a button push away, really. Sometimes I do stream on YouTube, and sometimes I stream on Facebook as well. Depending on which brands I work with, some brands prefer their own platforms. I think a lot of brands, especially food-related ones, still lean towards Facebook. So when I do stream, I do special streams for them on Facebook and that sort of stuff as well. But I think it's important once people see you, how you interact on camera, how you interact with the camera. You know, TV producers will think, oh, well, we don't need to worry whether she's going to be comfortable in front of the camera. We'll just fly her over to Melbourne and film like a half a dozen episodes for this TV show, which is great for me, right? And also I get approached by other people who see, you know, I think there's an element of those who know how to cook, who work in the industry, there's always that element of how much do I give away, right? Do I tell people all the secrets to my recipes, or do I hold back something? I tend to give everything away, all right? So everything that you see me do live and you see me cook from start to finish is what I applied in my restaurant, right? But in spite of that, I still get approached by people who want like private lessons, okay? So I've had people like from New York fly in actually and contact me and say, oh, would you mind? We're just gonna be in Sydney for a couple of days. Would you mind if we came and actually sat in your kitchen and learn how you do this in person, okay? And then in a couple of weeks, I've got someone flying in from another part of Australia as well to do the same. So that's all the different ways I get to monetize on what I do live.
And are you actually, Jackie? I mean, I know most of your speaking, as it were, would be via live stream, but you are also speaking on stages and doing live demos and being invited still to do that side of things, aren't you, as well? So that speaking head of yours, would you say the live stream empowers and enables the speaking, or the speaking enables and empowers the live streaming?
It's definitely the live streaming empowering the speaking, I think, because...
Okay. Say that once more for me as a sound bite.
I absolutely have to say that live streaming helps to empower my ability to speak live on stage.
Yay, I love it. I love it, because that's highly relevant, Jackie, for the Asian professional speakers of Singapore for the convention. So that might be your sound bite. Okay. Ha ha, Jackie M bite.
Oh, that's a good one. Hey, that should be my next shot, Jackie M bite.
You can have that one. You can have that one in Walk on Asia, Jackie. You can have that one. So Jackie, just to move on, what you were talking about how the different products and brands in Australia at the moment, they're still loving Facebook. So yeah. What are the other hot things that are happening? And how, actually, before that, how does Twitch actually work for those who don't know? Because people are probably going, how on earth do you make money while people are watching your live stream? So can you just give us a snapshot of what Twitch actually enables you to do? And if there are any other tools like it that we could be looking into?
Sure. Okay. Now, like I said, I went into Twitch really because it's still, I mean, the whole live streaming universe is still a little bit of a wild west in any case, but Twitch appealed to me because, first of all, the demographic is much younger. So to me, the idea is to actually start influencing young people, right? Twitch, for those who don't know, is the world's #1 live streaming platform for gamers, okay? And when I approached Twitch and I had a talk with them about doing cooking, they were just at that stage where they had just been taken over by Amazon. So I could see the potential over there as far as expansion. And because they'd been taken over by Amazon, they wanted to expand their offerings. They wanted to reach out to not just gamers, but also people who could create content that were creative, right? So food falls into the creative category, and that appealed to them. And because I'm one of the kind of, I guess, early adopters of cooking live streams on Twitch, it gives them incentive to promote my channel as well. And as a result of that, a lot of the time people will come across what I do because my big mug is being splashed on the Twitch homepage, like Jackie M's Live Asian Kitchen is on now, tune in to watch, sort of thing. So I've managed to garner some leverage from that. As far as monetization, now, like I said, I work with brands, and there's a number of ways they can pay you outright to use their products while you're live streaming. Secondly, they can offer giveaways to my audience, and that incentivizes people to tune in. Thirdly, affiliate programs. So the brands that I work with, especially if they are higher in products like kitchen appliances, anyone who buys an appliance while I'm live streaming or through my live streaming, I get to monetize on that as well. And then there's a direct monetization from the audience, all right? The Twitch universe is a little bit different to what I encountered on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Facebook, right? The Twitch universe is very giving, all right? Literally in some ways, okay? A lot of the live streamers actually put up a tip jar while they're streaming. And, you know, I can just do a simple little tip jar and say, these are my ingredients cost for all the cooking that I'm doing live on air. And then people will, you know, sometimes donate a few dollars here and there, sort of thing. I've had someone donate as much as $200 US one time. All right. So it's a little bit crazy. But yeah, it's good fun.
But it's a really nice thing because you're not demanding anything from them. Exactly. And I know I've said before, oh yeah, Jackie can sometimes she can do her show and then she'll do something like, I'll stay on if you, because they're gamers, they're used to kind of paying in 99 cents. So you can do something really quickly or do another recipe if they pay another 90 cents. So you can stay on for as long as the engagement and the interaction is actually happening, which is really nice.
Exactly.
So would you say, Jackie, this is mostly aimed right now? Are they looking for more creative people around the world right now? Or do you think Twitch is kind of closing the doors to live streaming globally?
I think there's still a lot of room for more creatives to jump on board. So yeah, so there are people who they might be sketch artists, you know, and you know they might make
Happy Nolan, just watch out.
And the great thing about it is that with Twitch, the vibe is a lot more relaxed as well. All right, that's part of the appeal for me. A lot of the time when I live stream on YouTube or Google Hangouts back in the day, and on Facebook, I feel like I have to have all my ducks in a row, and then just quickly go, "Hi guys, this is Jackie. I'm just going to show you a quick recipe how to do this." If you drag on for more than 20 minutes, people start to go, "Oh, why is she taking so long?" and that sort of stuff. You don't get that on Twitch. On Twitch, you can take your time. You can say, "I'm going to run in the kitchen. I'm going to wash up some of this stuff, and I'll come back." And people. Would
you say YouTube is a bit more like production pro TV in a way with YouTube Live or Hangouts?
Absolutely. Every live streaming platform has a different vibe to it, right? And to me, Twitch suits me because, like I said, I've got such a busy schedule. What you see, when I live stream, that's only a tiny little fraction of what I do, even though the live streaming is what gets people in, because after the fact, I still have to take photos of the food. I have to craft up a blog post. I have to, upload the video here and there and all kinds of stuff. And then that's on top of running my actual business as well, like liaising with brands and all that. So you know what it's like, Lottie.
And looking after baby Noah as well, and making sure his charity, his foundations are looked after as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So so
Superwoman here, folks. She's a superwoman.
Look, the feeling's totally mutual with what you do, Lottie. I'm constantly amazed at how what a little energizer battery you are. Like you're just all over the place. But with Twitch, like I said, I'm streaming in a few hours, and I can just kind of turn on my camera and just, "Hey guys, I'm still getting ready, so just bear with me." And then you just kind of fetch things from your kitchen. This is actually my living room. This is where I live stream from. My kitchen is too small for me to be able to do this properly. So it's just a very chill vibe. People come in, "Hey Jackie, how you doing?" sort of thing. Whereas, like I said, with YouTube and Facebook, the vibe is very different. On those platforms, I really need to make sure I think through what recipes I'm going to cook, and whether there's going to be dead air. If it's something that's going to need to simmer for 30 minutes, you're in trouble if you're streaming it on Facebook. So, there are those kinds of limitations on Facebook and YouTube that you don't necessarily get with Twitch.
I think there'd be a few people kind of doing this at the other end. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jackie, I just want to give a few shout outs because we've got people watching on various different places, various different platforms. So Roy Montero is saying, "Love your insights there, Jackie." And he loved your my mug, lol. And always speaking sound bites. That went down very well. And April was saying, "Sincere compliments. Jackie, you get approached by TV shows, which is great." Well, she was a very successful chef. And Jackie, you were actually on Australian MasterChef as well, weren't you?
I wasn't on MasterChef. I've cooked a lot with Australian MasterChef contestants.
Right, so I've been okay. So I might be bigging you up a little bit too much when I say you've been on MasterChef. You cooked with lots of MasterChef.
That's right.
So you and John Turode aren't like this.
No, not quite. You know what? To be fair, he actually contacted me when he was filming in Malaysia and asked if I could be on the show, but our schedules didn't align. So I said, "Look, I'll have to pass it on, to other people."
Hey, probably just as well with his comment in MasterChef here in the UK about rendang.
You heard about that?
It used to be crispy the other day. How should a rendang be, Jackie?
Not crispy.
Definitely not crispy. Well, Jackie, I know that you've got to get Noah off to school shortly and things, but I just want to, just for the last thing, if any speakers are kind of wanting to get lives into Australian markets, whether it's for products. I was chatting with Chocolate Johnny the other day. He said to say hello to you. Lots of people have sent you lots of love from Jen and from Tina and from Krishna over here. So thinking about people who are wanting to move into the Australian or the Antipodean market, are there any tips of what Aussie viewers are into down your part of the world?
Oh, what are we into? Oh, we love food. So you can never go wrong with food, all right? So if, you know with chocolate
Yeah, we can't all pinch your slot, Jackie. Come on, what else?
Okay. Yeah, we love food. We love the outdoors. And also we're very big on like just, I think there's a very chill vibe with Australians in general. And also we speak our minds a little bit. So no pretenses, no putting on airs and that sort of stuff. We'll love you to bits. So come on over to Australia, all right? And I've got a place here. I've got a spare room. If ever you decide to come over, Lottie, come stay with me.
I'd love to. I've got to get back to Bondi Beach and Manly Beach and all my different hangouts and get back on racing boats across the harbour and that kind of thing. It was lovely actually chatting with Chocolate Johnny and hearing his story about how his chocolate shop kind of went viral and where he's gone in just the last 3 years with the income selling products online. But just thinking for speakers who might not actually produce anything, are there any hot business or mindset? I know from my friend Shelley Taylor-Smith, Champion Mindset over in Perth, that's still big. But like, how are you connecting in your speaking, what you're doing with Baby Noah's story, with your cooking side of things, with earning an income through live streaming? Like, what's happening business-wise over there right now?
Look, okay. Now, with
hard question, I know. Tough questions, Jackie.
I've been, I think, like, just a lot of my networking is done through Facebook groups. So I'm like, I network with journalists and I network with foodies and network with other food bloggers. And just by virtue of actually connecting with people online, opportunities come your way. Like I got contacted by SBS Australia. You will be familiar with SBS. Basically, it's a multicultural TV network, etc. That's essentially it's like the PBS of Australia, but for multicultural, the multicultural demographic, right? So they contacted me out of the blue on LinkedIn and said, look, we saw your content and we'd be interested in putting it on our Mandarin website. So SBS has a lot of online presence. And, so they started putting up my cooking videos and my recipes on their website. So these are ways of just being able to like repurpose your content, or being able to get your name out there just by virtue of like doing what you're doing. You do have to show up. Like I said, the great thing about what I do with food is that my content is evergreen. So, I'm constantly like pushing it out there everywhere so that 5 years from now, people Google how to make a laksa or something like that, they might come across my video and then think of ways we can work together as well. So a lot of the time, like I said, if you let your content expire, then people may struggle a little bit to find you. But if you've got evergreen content that's out there forever, I've got live videos that I uploaded on YouTube from 5 years ago that I might only have had 10 people watch while I'm streaming. But 5 years later, it's gotten tens of thousands of views. So they're there forever. That's a great thing about what I do. I love it.
I love it. And it's an evergreen is not just salads. And I can see we're getting lots of love hearts on the other screen from the other channels that we're watching, that the show is being shared out here too. So Jackie, I'm gonna let you go because I'm kind of getting the feeling that Noah is talk to me, mum, and you have to get him set for school. So thank you, Jackie, so much for jumping on screen with me. And can I just get you to I'm going to put you solo. Can you just do a big shout out to the Asian speakers of Singapore? Big wave.
Asian speakers of Singapore. Hey.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Because I think I've now got 5 or 6 different sound bites that I can pick for the montage, Jackie. And if you're happy to share the whole show with them there and also with our Ladies Go Live members, as a Ladies Go Live member yourself.
You bet. I'd love to.
And thank you, Jackie, for being here in the show. Thanks to everybody who's joined us here today. Really appreciate your time, your comments, your feedback, your love hearts in various different places, whether you're watching in Be Live as well, whether you're watching in Ladies Go Live. I love our community, Jackie. I think we've got such an amazing community, collaborative community around the world, haven't we?
Exactly. Shout out to Roy Montera and shout out to April Roga. Those are two amazing people. Anyone who's interested in live video, make sure you connect with those.
Hashtag net friending. Hashtag net friending. This is what we're doing right here. And Jackie, when you're on your Malay food tour of Ireland, please come up and say hello this part of the world as well.
Hey, you're my first stop.
Glad to hear it. Okay, I'll let you go. Have a brilliant day in Oz right now, and thank you everybody for jumping in live with Lottie tonight. Shout out to everybody in Singapore as well, and we'll see you with the next APSS show. Who can I bring to you next time? See you soon, folks.